Okay, welcome back. We are live at Rep Express Catering this morning, and we are here for our Meet the Candidates event. The early voting period has started for local municipal elections, and yesterday we understand there was a record turnout. 425 people voted on the first day, wow. And I believe in 2009, the last time we had municipal elections, it was about 115 people on the first day. If that tells you of the interest in the Greenville City Council election, I think it's there this year. So this is a great opportunity for you to come out and meet the candidates this morning and get free breakfast courtesy of our host here at Rep Express. They do their community breakfast once a month, and they're always nice enough to invite us to be here for it. Rochelle and Brian Brown. Good morning, folks. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is quite a spread you've put out here this morning and a nice event. Thank you for letting us use the room for the Candidates Forum, and this is kind of a neat deal.
Absolutely. Well, no, I don't think anything embodies community breakfast more than this. Having the community come out and hear the candidates that will be representing you in the upcoming 2 years and making changes and differences right here in our community. So it's an honor to have you guys here. It's an honor to have the candidates here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great breakfast out here this morning. Rochelle, tell us about what's on the menu today.
Well, we just have an endless amount of things up there. We have waffles, eggs, egg bake, fresh fruit, sausage, bacon. It's all here. So please, if you're out there hungry, come on in. It is free, as always, for the community that has so supported Rep Express since 2007. We just appreciate you. We appreciate your business. So it's a great time to come on in and learn a little bit about the candidates today.
With the legislature now kind of over, I know there's still meetings and conference calls and things. Is it nice to have Brian back, or has he just gotten in the way?
Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
She trips over me occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm just like a bench in the middle of the aisle.
I said at first, it was an adjustment for the family and for the business, and then we got used to him not being here. So now that he's back, he kind of got in the way again. So, but no, we love him being here, and we put him to work.
That's right.
You can tell you guys have been married more than like a year.
Oh yeah.
And Brian, this is the time of year where this great room right here, where we have our Christmas party every year. In fact, I got to book it this year. We hadn't done it yet. We always, you guys make this room available to people for Christmas parties, and holidays are coming up and things like that. But I assume if people are interested in that, they better get with you soon, right?
Yeah, this is a busy season for us. We do a lot of different things this time of year. We start booking up our Thanksgiving packages where you order turkey, all the fixings. We make everything par-baked for you, so it's nice, easy cleanup. You go ahead, put it in your oven, feed the family, call it your own if that's what you desire. But a great opportunity to be able to push the work to the side, spend the valuable time with the family. And then, like you said, this room is available for rent for holiday parties, and a lot of great things happen during the holiday season in here. We really enjoy it and stay blessed. So book up now. It's filling up quickly. So I would definitely call today.
Also, we call them our Turkey Day packages, but so many people will send them as gifts to families who need them, so on and so forth. So we love to see that aspect too, especially the Thanksgiving and Christmas time. They can be used as really nice gifts.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for hosting us this morning. It's great to have us be back here, and you're always so kind to let us use the room for things like this, and this is a great event. So thank you, guys. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Give them a hand, folks. Our hosts this morning, Rochelle and Brian, and our crew is going to do a little resetting here, and I'll tell you a couple of things, a couple of program notes for you. Big football weekend this weekend. So we've got East Carolina Southern Miss tomorrow in the stadium at 12:05 kickoff. And don't forget that our pregame show will be this afternoon. We're doing our Choose Pews Pirate Game Day Countdown today at 4 o'clock at the KFC location at the corner of Greenville Boulevard and Mosley Drive. And we'll be out there from 4 to 6. They've got a great tailgate package, 10 pieces of chicken for $10. And then tomorrow we'll be doing our postgame show, our Greenville Toyota Pirate postgame call-in show. We hope that you'll call in and be part of that show tomorrow. It will air on Cable 7, but also tomorrow, make a note, it'll be on 94.3, not on 103.7 FM tomorrow. So that is all our football programming coming up. And, of course, Free Boot Friday tonight. A lot of great things happening in the community. Football weekends in Greenville, there's nothing like it. It's a lot of fun. And we hope the weather's going to cooperate. All right, let's get back to our Meet the Candidates event. We're going to focus now on District 4 and then the at-large race and then the mayor's race. here to lead off the District 4 discussions is well, I was about to say the challenge. Both are challenged. This is an open seat again because Councilman Mercer has chosen to run for the at-large seat. But the first person we're going to be talking to this morning, Rick Smiley. Rick is here this morning with his smiley face on. Good morning, Rick. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
It's good to be here.
All right. As we have done with all the other candidates, let's just open with you telling us about yourself, your background, and why you decided to run for City Council.
I've been increasingly interested in what's going on in the city for at least 10 years now. When I look back at it, it really becomes clear that my interest level has risen as my children have gotten older. That when I first got started, it was I noticed that my kids were going to the same schools my parents had gone to, and that it just occurred to me that that process was going to be repeated over time, that my kids were kind of walking in the same shoes I was, the same shoes my parents were, and I began wondering where that was going to take them. And so it's clear to me that if they're going to be in Greenville, that the long-term vitality and health of this city is an extraordinarily important thing. And so I've gotten engaged trying to work toward that goal. I've worked on the Historic Preservation Commission, the Neighborhood Advisory Board, the Parking and Public Transportation Commission. I did run for council last time, and it's, I've gotten involved in campaigns, I've gotten involved, you just do more and more of this, and eventually you go to enough of these meetings, somebody will tell you to run for something.
What do you see as the big issues as we move forward in Greenville over the next few years? What will Greenville be facing, and what do you bring to the table to help with that?
I think that the city we've got to whether it's get back to it or begin it or recommit to it, whatever you want to call it, making sure that we're putting together strategic plans that are truly strategic, that have the broad support of the citizens, that the array of interest in the city have weighed in on, and that there's something there that that works for everybody, or at least as many people as is feasible. And the reason we have to do that is because the most important thing a council can do is make decisions which which impact the city for 15, 20, 30 years. Most citizens go through their day and they're doing everything they can to figure out how to make sure the kids get to the right locations tonight and get picked up afterwards. And it's difficult to think beyond the end of the day or the end of the week, and certainly not what's going to happen 20 or 30 years from now. And yet we are all building businesses, houses, families, careers, which are predicated on the idea that this will be a robust, vital city 10, 20, 30 years from now. So the most important thing council can do is think about that and put together plans which aim toward that. But there's no way that the people who are on council now are going to be here 10, 20, 30 years from now to make sure that whatever plans they came up with are the ones that get implemented. I mean, it's unrealistic to assume you're going to stay, interested and able and elected that long. And so that means the plans have to be widely supported. They have to be the sort of thing that leaders in the future will want to implement. So they have to make sense. They have to be widely supported. They have to have the support of the public. Because otherwise, if all you do is put in place, the 4 or 5 policies that you most like, and you do it with very narrow support, then the next council's just going to undo all that, okay? So that's my goal, is to make sure that we begin or recommit to or return to, however you want to put it, a way of developing policy and vision in this city which is far more inclusive, far more focused on the long term, and far more informed by the public.
I assume from those comments that you want to undo some things.
I want to revisit some things
that have been done in the past. And one of the issues in this particular race with the incumbent here, Calvin Mercer, deciding to run for the at-large seat, we've heard, I think this is a fair question for this district, we've heard Calvin say for years that it's frustrating to be on the bottom end of a 4-2 vote. I guess it's a fair question to ask you. Are you basically running as Calvin's replacement here? Or are you going to be kind of carrying his mission? Have you been recruited by Calvin to run? What's the reason for that? And you know, is this something that you want to try to continue to create, is what Calvin has started in your district?
It is a fair question. It's one I get a lot. And there is certainly little that I would want to walk back that Calvin Mercer has, has initiated or done, though there are many times that, things he has done or things he has said have, been things that I didn't agree with. And I've told him that. I mean, I've been his constituent for 6 years, and I have been, direct and vocal to him about a number of issues that I thought he simply took the wrong approach with. And so I recognize that when there's this active a mayor's race and that this energetic and at-large race, that people aren't really paying enough attention to what I think or even what my opponent thinks to really get much of a sense of, okay, there's this person, she's this way, there's Mr. Smiley, and he's been a supporter of Mercer for a long time. Okay, well, let's get back to the mayor's race. So there's not a lot of space or opportunity to really say, I'm a very different guy. I think that in the next couple of years on council, people are going to see daylight between me and Calvin Mercer. There's not, we are not in accord in all things.
Okay. I'm
much more drawn to compromise than he is.
Right.
There are many times when I've sat there watching, Calvin and Mary and staring at that, the very thing you're talking about, the bottom end of a 4-2 vote, and maybe having opportunity to get something out of it, and that, that if they would, they could change it a little bit and, maybe craft a majority that was not everything they wanted, but certainly better than what they were looking at.
Fair enough. I don't want to run out of time because we got to deal with the issue with Terry coming up. We've got to talk to Terry about the issues of her residency. That's been maybe the hottest topic in your district. I just wanted to give you a chance to comment on that. Was Terry Williams' residency fight a fair fight? Was that a reasonable thing for the challenge to be made?
I haven't made any comment about that. Daily Reflector brought that up. I'm not going to comment about it now.
Okay. Then give us your final comments. Give us a 1 minute kind of why people should vote for Rick Smiley in District 4.
I think that we don't talk enough about the merits of issues on council. I think we get really caught up in where ideas came from, whose ideas they are, and who's going to get credit for it. And I think that's been to our detriment. I analyze things. When I get a problem, I go find data. I test my presumptions against that data. If my conclusions don't agree with the facts, I change my conclusions. If you can bring me better data about an issue, you can change my mind. And I think that approach is something we need more on the council.
Rick Smiley, everybody. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Rick. Good to see you. And now the other candidate in District 4, the aforementioned Terry Williams, who is here with us this morning. Terry, it's nice to see you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you for being here. And let's start with the same question we've asked everybody else. Give us a little information on your background and why you decided to run.
Okay. Thank you, Henry. Well, I'm a wife of 35 years, married to my husband, Tommy Williams. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a daughter, and a wonderful daughter-in-law, and 2 awesome grandsons. I'm a realtor with Aldridge and Sutherland, and I also have some experience serving on the Redevelopment Commission for the City of Greenville. And so with that small business experience and with my love of Greenville and sharing my tenure of 5 years on the Redevelopment Commission, I decided I'd like to continue that service back to Greenville.
All right, let's talk about issues.
Sure.
What are your issues? What do you see as the #1 thing facing Greenville right now?
Well, we've all touched on all the issues about public safety and crime, but public safety is more than just about crime. And I think I would like to tune in for a few minutes specifically about some issues for my district, if you don't mind if
Sure.
I do that. I have already initiated a request from the Department of Transportation to start a study on the speed limit problems that I think that we have outside of Brook Valley. With the development, which you've already previously mentioned, about Walmart and the Lowe's, traffic has, of course, increased on Highway 33, and I live in Brook Valley, and coming out of Brook Valley in the morning to that stoplight, it is a very dangerous situation. And it's not just dangerous for Brook Valley, but all the other neighbors and the student housing coming out. So this week, I initiated a study through the Department of Transportation to talk about those issues and what could we do about reducing that speed limit, or either by reducing the speed limit or by installing perhaps the signaling traffic lights that they put to tell you there's an upcoming stoplight. We've got to do something out in that area. And it doesn't get any better, Henry, as we go towards the intersection up by the Food Lion. We also need to concentrate on crosswalks. We have installed a lot of these sidewalks all throughout the city, but it is terrible out between the Food Lion, going past Hastings Ford, the people trying to cross over from the housing sections. We need to work on our crosswalks too. So that is all a part of public safety. Of course, crime is big, and we're not trying to say that that's not important, but there's other issues to public safety that need to be handled as well.
What about crime? With increased population, with increased development comes crime. We've had a change in the police chief here in the last year. What are your thoughts about crime in Greenville?
Well, I think that there is a perception that it is probably worse than it is. It seems like when we see the news, a lot of times it's the same criminals committing some of the same crimes, and so it appears that it's more and more. It is bad, and we have got to stay on top of it, but I do think that our new police chief has started wonderful initiatives, and we all have to get behind him. I think he has a lot of experience because he's been on the ground, and so he's seen firsthand, and I believe that he's developing those programs that we need to support him and keep moving forward.
The elephant in the room has to be dealt with. We have to talk about the issue on the challenge to your residency. There was a discussion about this, and the newspaper covered it, it seemed like ad nauseum. The question of whether or not you are a qualified resident of District 4 was questioned, and you had to go to I guess you didn't have to do it at the time that you did, but you chose to go ahead and have a hearing at the Board of Elections, and the Board of Elections found that you are a resident of District 4. With all that, there's been a lot of negative letters to the editor. A lot of people have said some pretty nasty things, and I just wanted to give you a chance to address that. Have you been unfairly depicted in this whole thing? Has this been a experience that you weren't expecting?
Well, it's been challenging for my family and for myself. But let's just go to the issue, Henry. When the protest petition was put forward, we immediately wanted to take care of this problem because I know where I live. And so we asked for the hearing, and they immediately scheduled it. We provided the documentation that was necessary to satisfy the Board of Elections, and it was settled that night by law, by how it is stated on the books and what needed to happen. And so we felt like that was the best thing because that shouldn't be the issue. It was an issue temporarily for some. We settled that issue. Now we'd like to move on and handle the big things that are coming up for Greenville, the things that need our attention.
The evidence that seemed to be coming back that was shared was that you had listed a residence in Beaufort County.
Right.
On a bankruptcy document in 2012.
Right.
So can you speak to that?
I can. It was done temporarily at that address when we filed the paperwork because of a couple of reasons. One, at that time, was for privacy. The other was because we moved into Brook Valley in September of 2010, and my husband and his father have the same name, so we didn't want the mail to come there. And so I think that was also settled at the hearing by a letter from our attorney stating that that address filed on that paperwork is good for that day, and that all the mailing addresses were directed to a post office box, and that as well, and that as long as the courts could continue to get up with us like they needed to, if they needed to, that was satisfactory and did not have to be changed. It was just an oversight as to not change it.
Did all this sour you, or did it strengthen your resolve?
It absolutely has strengthened us. We'll move forward. We've had a lot of challenges. My husband's sickness was one. The downturn of the economy is one, not just my challenge. I've faced the challenges in the last 5 to 7 years that a lot of our population has faced, and I think it has made us stronger. It's made our family stronger, and we're just ready to move forward and see what can we do to help Greenville be stronger.
All right, give us a 1-minute close here. Tell people in District 4 why Terry Williams is the better choice.
Well, I believe the most important thing is that after the election in 2007, when I was not elected at that time, I decided to get involved in Greenville and joined the Redevelopment Commission, was appointed to that, and have been very involved in the revitalization of the Uptown Greenville area. And the Redevelopment Commission gives you a very small sample of how the City Council actually operates. So I believe I have that experience and the experience of running small business. And I believe that I want to be a voice, and I want you to have a voice and be an advocate for the city. And I would hope that you would vote for me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Williams, District 4.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. All right, this commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll focus on the at-large race here at Rep Express at the Meet the Candidates event. Come on out and join us. We'll be right back.